Hey, what's up guys? This is Stelo TV. I'm Stelo, and today I will be reacting to So I'm a Spider, So What? What is this? Episode 10? Big thing, big thing. Like I said, check the description. I have a video on there that's less edited and everything like that. So on BitChute, and then I have a full reaction on Patreon. So please check those out, especially that BitChute one. Anyway, big thing, I gotta get to it. Last episode, I hate this so much because last episode, a lot happened, and some of it was like this. This show really pushes so much information at you that sometimes it's just hard to like comprehend, like to digest all of it at once. Because the whole thing with the timelines and everything, that's so weird. I didn't pick it up because I saw the egg. I was like, that's Faye, and of course I knew Kumo was there, Kumiko was there with that egg, and I was like, oh, okay, so that means they're 15 years old. The other characters, I picked all of that up, yet I didn't pick up the fact that that was the past. I don't know why. Like, that should have, like, me knowing that alone, me picking up on that alone should have told me. But I think it was just so much to process at the time. And then the only thing that threw me off is I remember, I think it was like episode 4 or 5, where Julius was like, we're going to the cave and we're gonna take, like, there's the spider terror attack that we have to take care of. I remember that episode. So he went to the cave, and that was the present day, right? He went to that cave, and I remember saying to myself, oh my god, Julius is gonna come in contact with Kumiko. And so there are adventurers in the cave, that episode that came to contact with Kumiko, and we know present day Julius went in there. And I know one of my viewers was telling me that what was the name of that spider, Vestige, and he said it meant something, and I'm pretty sure later down the line I'll understand what the vestige means. I mean, he told me what it means, but I mean in terms of the story. So, but because as soon as that happened, that eliminated any doubt in my mind that there'd be 2 different timelines, because I saw Julius go in that cave. And so, like, the way they did that episode, it made me think they're innocent. So maybe something different happened, but that's the way I interpreted it. So even when we saw the egg and Faye and all that stuff, and we knew he found the egg and all this stuff, it had already been eliminated in my mind that was even possible because of that. Because it showed to me that they, but it did. I'm so glad, because I think I've been asking for a while. I've been like, I feel like every video, and you guys are always like telling me stuff that I don't want to know and stuff. Helping me out on a lot of things that I didn't pick up. Like, I mean in a good way. I was just joking, but you guys are always telling me things, and I've been asking every episode, like, yo, why did they get reincarnated into like these bodies, these older bodies? Like, what is going on? And like, nobody has said a word, so I appreciate that a lot. And so that answered it. They've actually lived their entire, like, up to this age, so that makes a lot of sense. And I guess with it being said that it's been 15 years, which is like huge, because we see how much she has powered up in, like, I don't know how many days it's been in her actual life, but just in 10 episodes she's like gained all these powers and abilities. My only thing is like, oh, and so now who could she be? Because the teacher said she was dead. I think that's a lie. I mean, I don't know, but I just think it's a lie. But if they were trying to insinuate that it was that demon lord, which I thought the demon lord was the one on the phone. So I thought the demon lord they showed, that the main one with the brown hair, brunette hair, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. I thought she was the one that was on the phone. I guess since they both had like a female voice actor or whatever, maybe that's why I tried to correlate the two. But I saw a lot of people in the comments saying that Administrator D and her are 2 different people. So I guess that could be Komoko. Which, if you look at it, the funness that we've seen from her, like the eccentric, just party vibe we've gotten from her, which is nothing like her, introvert self from her previous life. Which one of my viewers was saying that's how a lot of introverts are. They don't express it, but that's how they are inside. So I love that aspect of it. But if you look at it from that point of view, she fits perfectly. Like that's her personality, So and then they showed the spider web, so they were trying to insinuate that. And I think this is because I watched 8 and 9. I don't think I would have thought this if I had watched just 9, or if I had watched 8 and then 9 the next week. But there was somebody at the table, and I was like, that girl looks mysterious. And she was kind of like standoffish. She didn't say much. I think she had like white hair or something, but she had her hood over her head, and it kind of mirrored Komoko in her previous life. It kind of mirrored that, so it made me think. Once I put the timelines, together, it made me kind of think maybe that could be her. But the only thing that's throwing me off and saying it can't be her is in the ED. In the ED, they show this silhouette of, like, they keep showing the silhouette of this girl, and she has like this animal, whoever that is, and they show Komoko, and it's like a silhouette of like, yo, this is her, like this is her human form, and that looks nothing like that. Whoever that mysterious girl was, it looks more like the demon lord, but it doesn't at the same time. So I don't know. It could be anyone at this point. She could be dead at this point. I don't know. I love that. Like right now, this show has so much going on. I think it's the show I'm most intrigued about right now. It's the show I'm most invested in right now with the story, and just because I love things like that where there are mysteries and there's all these stuff going on and you're trying to figure out everything. I love stuff like that. So right now, this is like my favorite, and Slime is my favorite like show ever. But as far as invested in the story, like this is probably one I'm most interested in. Only thing is, they're throwing so much at us right now, like to process, that sometimes it's just really overwhelming. Because I'm not gonna say I hate it, but now it's like when you have 2 timelines going on, now I'm gonna be like, oh, I want to see what's going on in the present. But then we still have the fun, like it's still fun watching Komoko. But now I'm kind of like, I don't care about that. Like I want to see her now. Where's she at now? So it's a constant battle of me just trying to decipher, because I do enjoy her being a spider, and all of that stuff is cool. So it kind of ruins it just a little bit, because it makes you want to just go ahead and jump into the present, which I think we'll be getting, which will be even worse because we'll be getting teased on what's gonna happen, and we got to find out how we got there. So I said a lot, but that's all that was in my head. Hopefully we can get through, find out some more information today. Oh, and Julius died at the end, so that's a crazy way to find out too. I feel really bad for Shun. Oh, and yeah, I've been rewatching a lot of the episodes, and one thing I did not notice is that the whole group, I thought they were all the reincarnated, but Shun's sister, she's not part of the reincarnated, right? Like she's just a regular girl. So I'm so glad I picked that up. I think when you're reacting, it's different than when you're just like watching. Because when I'm reacting, I try not to pause it too much. But when I'm watching it by myself, it's just like, all right, let me pause this. But I said a whole lot. I'm glad I did. It was a lot on my mind. And now hopefully we can get to this. So like, share, subscribe. It helps out so much. Thank you to all of you that do that. I really appreciate it. Let's go. Oh yeah, so she was on the phone last time. So what is she gonna do now that she knows that information of like, see, that is a girl. I guess it's not that demon lord. Yeah. What the heck is a phone doing in this world? Maybe she's one of the reincarnated. See, I love this aspect, so I hate that we kind of are pushed into the present. Dang, and that's the way everybody else has to find out too. I don't know if he's dead though. I'm always of the mindset till we see a body. But the way they do this show, it could easily be the truth. Like, so they're doing a lot of stuff that's just like, that's the truth. Here it is. Believe it or not, it's the truth. So I'm wondering now, how does the ascension work? Because they weren't expecting it to be in the same kingdom. It's a lot of pressure. But in anime terms, like most 15-year-olds are given a lot of responsibility. Like in anime, they look at them as men at that age. Man, he really cared for his brother. That's the only thing that kind of bothers me because it's like we didn't get to see him grow up and find that bond for his brother, so it doesn't hit as much as it should. Okay, so this is the one he was talking about. So he was formidable enough to fend them off. Who is he? I mean, I know who he is, but I'm saying like, is he a good guy? Because I don't know. It just seemed like he shouldn't be smiling right now. Okay, so we're gonna go back and get his backstory, I guess. Well, something that happened. So that's Kumiko, or was that Vestige? I'm just wondering how do they look at that Vestige spider compared to Kumiko? Because we've seen she's been spoken of a lot for the monster she's taken out. Like people are being aware of that. All right, if this falls in line to where she was walking to, that'll be pretty dope. I doubt it will, but it'll be pretty cool. I love and hate that this show is making me think like way more than I should. So that's not. Is that her? I don't know. But this isn't. She hadn't come in contact with any people. I don't think she would run up on people. So I don't know if it's her. Oh, what the heck? Well, we know he doesn't die. It's hard to tell if it's her because we're not getting it from her perspective. We're getting it from his perspective. Is she doing this on purpose to try to like talk to them? It has to be her. It has to be her. I know it showed the name, but it's like it's just throwing me off because I don't know if this is how she would act. That's the only thing throwing me off. This had to be later down the line because we hadn't seen her do this yet. Unless this isn't what she's doing right now, though. This is later down. I already had so much going on in my head, and now this is going on. Yeah, that's definitely her. Yo, it's funny because it's like smiling, and you know she's like always smiling. Yeah, that's her. He was telling you guys to wait. Like, like she's clearly way beyond any of their skills. That dude, like, yo, she a real one, yo. Oh, okay, she's killing. She's killing. I mean, to her though, they're enemies, so. Yo, she is going for the kill, yo. I actually thought, like, I actually had optimism that she didn't kill everybody, and she did. She probably ate them too. What did he survive? Like, he didn't want to die in the cave. So is the queen terror attack? Is that does that mean that's comical? Because aren't there like is she? So she's a queen. That has to be comical then, right? I wanted them to go back to this. It was her. It is Sine. Okay. Oh man. Okay, that was episode 10 of Storm Spider. Man, when I tell you, I feel like I've just been just an overload of information. Oh my god! Like obviously that was her. What threw me off though was like the cave going into the where it looked like it was an exit. She was going uphill, but where they were, it didn't look like it was uphill. Plus, it said she had like her home there. She had never been up to like that side, so how was that her home? Because that's what they were doing, right? Like it showed her going up that way, and then that's where they were. And I love that they finally. That's the only thing that felt like um natural, not even natural, but like normal was just like him thinking back to the past because we know it's the past now and thinking back to what's actually going on right now. If they did that with Julius, maybe they did do that with Julius and I didn't notice. Maybe he thought back to the past and that it showed it happen. I feel like that didn't happen though. I feel like he actually went into the cave. But the way they showed it, that was so funny to me that she was like smiling and she because we saw I don't know who the guy was on the phone and everything, but we saw she couldn't even appraisal him, but she could appraisal them easily. So obviously he's way powerful than they were. I really appreciated them showing him thinking back to the past. The way they did that, I think, was way better than any scene they've done of the past so far. Maybe it's just that I understood it finally, but it's just the way that I think they just really directed this episode like really good. And there's another thing. That was another thing. What was the other thing? Or something else. Or something. What was I gonna say? I know like they showed the name Zoa, LA or whatever. Of course, that's her. That's her given name or whatever. But oh, I know what I was gonna say now. That's her given name and whatever. But just it was hard to tell if it was her, just cause like I don't know. For them to transition that way, I could see if she was like, "Oh, I hear people." That's the only thing that kind of like I didn't like. I could see if she was like, "Oh, I hear people. Let me go over there," and then it goes to him, and then we see everything that happens. But the way they did it, it was like, "Oh, here's an exit. Here's a place I've never been before," and all of a sudden they burn down a home in a place that she said she had never been in before. Maybe I got confused with that, but that was just kind of weird because that threw me off because I was like, how was that her home if she hadn't even been up that way? I don't know. Cause she was like, cause when they showed her, they were like, I step away for one moment and they burn my house down. Like, how is your house getting burned down if you like? But I'm gonna look at that again. I know I probably got confused and that's what it was. But that's the only thing that threw me off. And then he called. Obviously, everything that's been happening in the labyrinth has been people have been figuring it out. I guess when dragons, because I know what she killed that dragon, and that's what made that guy. Maybe he's like he was dressed sort of like a dragon, like in terms of like a leader of the dragons. Because I know I don't watch like Game of Thrones or whatever, but I know that's typically how they look when you're like the leader of that pack or whatever. So maybe that alerted him but I think it alerts like everyone. Like I think when a huge um foe or huge like huge monster or even person, because it looks like whenever someone dies, like everyone's alerted because everyone has a title. So once someone gets killed and that title gets passed, okay, so that title gets passed down to somebody else. So that's how everyone's been aware of her like killing these monsters. Um, I know one of you was saying in the comments though that they cut out some scene where I think the mother was fighting that dragon before and she had like beat him down, so he was already like drained out a little bit. But still, Komoko, she took him out. Um, she used her brain and everything and outsmarted him and outpowered him. She really outpowered him. She was like trying to outsmart him and he was kind of like on the same level as her. But then she just showed how much more powerful she was. And so like he like the Rada son, whatever his name is, he it's not like he was young. It's not like he was thinking back like 80 years ago. He's just thinking back 15 years, like he was still like old. And for her to be on that power level at that point, that's insane. Like she was just born, like I don't know how long she's been alive, but so just think about where she is now. That's the only thing that's like, oh my god, like that's the only thing where I'm thinking like she has to be insanely powerful. And I was so like yeah, the name of that demon lord, which they said was the Queen Terratact is the one that took out Julius's camp or his area. And if it's the Queen of the Spiders, you would have to assume that it's her, right? You would have to assume that it's Kumiko, right? Because who else, if she's been living this long? Although, like, in terms of the labyrinth, we don't know. Like, we only know the labyrinth. We don't know what else is outside. So there could be another spider even more powerful than her that was around during that time and that's been around for 15 years. But just seeing how powerful she was back then, if what they call her nightmare, that would have to be her, right? So, and then I was saying in the ED, they keep showing that silhouette of that girl. She kind of looks, she's just a brunette. That's the only thing that makes her look sort of like that nightmare girl or the demon lord. But that's not her. That's not the same person, I don't think. And that like the way they're silhouetting it, that has to be comical, right? So that's throwing me off. If I didn't see that ED, I'd be like, Nightmare has to be Kumiko at this point. And then I told you about that mysterious girl, but that's looking less and less likely to be her. I love that I don't know too much. You guys have been really good with like telling me a lot of details without telling me too much. And that's always the best part of a show, when you don't know too much and you're just intrigued by what could happen. I think I covered everything I want to talk about. Yeah, but the whole thing about the titles, that makes so much more sense now. Everyone has a title. So when something dies, I love that. I don't think that's been shown in a lot of shows. And I think that's a really important detail. I like that a lot. I don't think they show that in a lot of shows. Actually, they do, but I think this show emphasizes on it a lot more than most shows. So, like I said, I'm into, you know, I'm not gonna say this is my favorite show or anything, but this show more than any other show right now has my full attention. Like I'm thinking about this show and what can happen and what's this and what's that, and I think that's the product of a good show. So, I know a lot of slime fans and a lot of spider fans are like fighting over what's better and stuff. I really don't care. I just like enjoying shows. You know, of course I'm a slime head over everything, but um, I can say when a show is good, this is really good. So I enjoyed it so much. I know there's tons and billions of things that I want to say that I forgot that I can't think of, but I think that covered most of what I had to say. I know I'm going to think of a bunch more, so look out for next week. I try not to talk too much before the video, before the reaction. There was just so much I had to get off my chest, and it'll probably be like that next video too. I'm going to write down anything that I remember that I had to say. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and see you next time.